in some kind of SWAT movie when I was younger. And if it was, then I have to say I'm pretty sure the truth is I, for no discernible reason, owned that soundtrack on CD. Anyway, number one thing about me, I tend to be a little obsessive. I like to really dive into things, not actually relationships at all though, but I guess I can be when I was younger I could get fixated on a crush, sure, but I don't dive into relationships or anything like that. However, in terms of interests, in terms of hobbies, interest, new behaviors, routines, things like that, I can be a little obsessive, hence why one of my core values of the moment is balance, because I can also be very balanced, and when I am balanced, I am happier. Anyway, I can be a little obsessive. I don't know what those creaks in my house just were. As ASMR October says, I guess we're just haunted over here, but that's fine. Yeah, I can be a little obsessive, or I can like overcorrect a little bit. For example, I have been living with the person I live with for a while now, but they were working exclusively from home for a good while, and I too was working exclusively from home for a while as well. And I kind of realized that I was really wanting and craving alone time. And for a while I didn't really have it. They respect my space for sure. They are amazing, but there's this thing where I like to be home alone, like just with the knowledge that no one is home. No one could possibly like ask me for anything. Oh man, we're getting into sheepdog territory. No one could possibly ask me for anything. I could not possibly disturb anyone or what they're doing. I don't even have the thought to see how they are, because there's no sounds being made, because they are just not present. My hair coming forward like this, I'll often do this when I'm FaceTiming my family, but in particular my father, and he calls it my sheepdog look. I really don't know why I do it. Speaking of which, my whole family is like, we're all a bit obsessive in different ways. It's like a Mauve family thing, kind of. I don't necessarily think it's one to be super proud of, but we are. Yeah, we are. My dad will get a new hobby like every 3 months and go all in. For example, my sister never respect and admiration. I don't think normal people do Ironmans, and I think you can probably agree with me. Anyway, the Mauve clan, slightly obsessive, for better or for worse. So I feel like I'm doing like a Russian doll of topics. So now I'm gonna zoom back out to this one. Okay, so I had no alone time for a bit. And it's funny, when I started this video, my hair, I had just brushed it, and it was untangled. But nice little, all the loose ends tied up, little pat, little narrative. So, Obsessive Mauve was like, or Overcorrection Mauve was like, let's do a double feature. And the person I live with was like, okay. They often say okay to me, which is kind. Not a pushover, but they let me be my weird little self more often than not. So we decided on a double feature. All of this to say, 2 movies in one night was a bit much. Maybe I'm just getting old. I sure am, but like it gave me a little bit of headache. The first movie we watched, well, that's the thing too, we watched 2 trailers, couldn't decide between them, and we thought that they would pair well together, if you will. So, 1 second, my foot is falling asleep. And we're back. So, we watched them both. The first one we watched is a French movie from, I believe, this year, called Anaïs in Love, or L'amour d'Anaïs, I think. It was very good. I liked it. It felt to me what I had been hoping that the worst person in the world was going to be. Because it has a similar kind of protagonist who is flighty, sort of like the new incarnation of a manic pixie dream girl, a la Zooey Deschanel in 500 Days of Summer, who is just the new iteration of that. To me, feels like messy woman, emotionally detached, flighty, aimless, etc., etc., etc. So they both have a protagonist like that. However, in Anaïs in Love, the character feels more fleshed out, and the story is really fun because she breaks up with her boyfriend, starts seeing an older man. This is all in the trailer, no spoilers, it's all in the trailer. Starts seeing an older man and kind of becomes obsessed with his wife, actually, because she is a really beautiful, self-actualized writer. And Anaïs, the young girl, she loves to read. She loves literature in general. So she becomes obsessed with her and tries to figure out what's going on there. At the end, she has like a brief moment where she does reflect on herself and her tendencies in a way that was nice to see. Nice to see a little self-awareness and stuff like that. In The Worst Person in the World, which is, I don't know where the movie is from, but the director, I believe, is Danish, Norwegian. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The protagonist is this like new manic pixie dream girl situation as well, who also is told to us to be interested in art, photography, spark between her now husband and his ex-wife, so that the ex-wife will take him back. Just like shoo, shoo, shoo.